I have not talked about movies on this channel for a long time. That's purely my mistake because I do love them and I haven't been able to go to the theater as much recently and, doing other things that I'm trying to work on and do in my career. But there is something that I really wanted to talk about. One of my most anticipated films that was supposed to come out of this year, the Michael Jackson biopic, Michael, was delayed until next year. Something I was really excited for was the director, Antoine Fuqua, and the fact that I am a massive Michael Jackson fan. And it's something that I just didn't think I'd get to see in my life. I didn't think making a Michael Jackson biopic, at least now or recently, just because of how controversial his life was, how hard I think that is to make work, and how hard it is to cast Michael Jackson, to be honest with you. I think Michael Jackson was it's just like the way he sings, the way he dance. It just there was just so the way his appearance changed over time. It was just such a hard movie to make, I think. And when the production on it started, things started to make sense. They picked a director that I trust, Antoine Fuqua, an excellent director in my opinion. And this trailer, when it came out, I was blown away. One of the best trailers that I have seen in my life. And I said this immediately. I didn't even see the reaction of what people were saying about it. I was like, I couldn't believe how good this trailer is. And I'm someone who has seen a lot of trailers. Now, there's been good trailers that have led to mediocre movies. There have been, or even some bad movies. There's been a ton of reshoots with this film. They cannot go into the 1993 situation. They didn't know that. So they had to completely reshoot that. There's rumors there's going to be a part two to this. It just seems like this production has been hell and crazy. But that trailer was fantastic. Fantastic. And I am cannot wait. And this is going to break records. This is going to be the probably the biggest musical biopic of all time. And what I anticipate from this movie is I anticipate there will be a part two. I don't know. I think Lionsgate has announced there will be a part two, especially after this reaction. But I don't think it's been a truly official yet. So forgive me if I haven't said that. If they have confirmed it, and I'm just not knowing that. But what I think is going to happen is this film is going to make a ton of money. I think audiences are going to love it. I think critics are going to be mixed on it because I think they're not going to go into the controversial parts of Michael Jackson's life. In fact, they may, considering that his nephew is playing him, I think there's going to be a bias towards Michael Jackson, especially after the Leaving Neverland documentary that came out in 2019. This, and how much of an uproar that got in attention, and considering that the man has been dead now for 16 years, a lot of people thought, there was a lot of people who did not like that documentary. There's a lot of people who went at those accusers. They went at the accusations. And listen, there's going to be that same energy coming back at this film, which is why I think it's going to be mixed critically. That's just the way it is. And this is why I didn't think I would see a Michael Jackson biopic. I just thought, I just didn't think it would happen. But I think the studio is probably relying a little bit on some controversy with this movie. And it's going to have some controversy to it. That's just the way the media can be. And that's the way people will discuss it because that's just the case because these were real accusations against Michael Jackson. And this movie is going to make a ton of money because the fact of the matter is Michael Jackson is one of the greatest musicians and artists of all time. And there will never be somebody, in my opinion, who will ever be as big as him. Just how famous that guy was. So with this film coming out, I am and let's just I mean the man himself is entertaining. So this isn't like his music and his dancing is just going to attract people then and there. I mean, the musical on Broadway was a big hit, and people loved going to see that. They don't dive into those accusations at all. So, this will be an interesting part. I think it's going to be about probably up to the Dangerous album that time. And then you're probably going to get a part two. I think a lot of fans are going to want a part two. It's going to make a crap ton of money. And this film is going to be one of my most anticipated films of the next year, along with The Odyssey, along with Avengers Doomsday. We got a lot of good movies coming up. A lot of exciting movies next year are coming out. And I'm really excited about it. Very. I think movies that I don't necessarily know are going to be good, and that includes this movie. I don't know if it's going to be good. I trust the director. And Antoine Fuqua has made a lot of movies that are really good, that audiences really love, but critics don't. And critics are kind of mixed on him. And I feel like he's really like the perfect director to do a Michael Jackson movie. He really just is. Because I think no matter what, I think critics are going to be mixed on it. But you have to satisfy the fans for Michael Jackson, I guess, if you're going to make a Michael Jackson biopic. So this is going to be fascinating. But that trailer was exceptional. Just one of the best trailers I've seen. I think it's the best musical biopic trailer of all time, easily. But that's just one of the best trailers I've ever seen. The way the music is mixed, the way he looks, Jafar Jackson, his nephew, he really feels and looks like Michael Jackson. Obviously, there's been people nitpicking about the effects and the way they make him look sometimes, but he really does look like Michael Jackson to me. Obviously, he's not going to look exactly like him in some shots because he's not Michael Jackson, but the way he talks, the way he performs, I mean, it's really close. And I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be really a moment where people are going to be like, I have to go to the theater to see that. You're not seeing that as much, I think, with some biopics. I mean, there was obviously the Bob Dylan biopic with Timothy Chalamet. There's the Bruce biopic, Bruce Springsteen biopic that's going out right now. I don't think it's even going to come close. There was Bohemian Rhapsody, which was a big one. It probably appeased more to the casual viewer. There were some people who wanted to see the nitty gritty of Bohemian Raps of Freddie Mercury, with Sacha Baron Cohen and David Fincher were originally going to try and do. They settled for a surface level portrayal. Pleased a lot of the crowd. A lot of people loved it, but I think there was people who wanted more there. Elvis did really well. Thought that was a really good one. I really liked the Elvis biopic. But this Michael Jackson one, I think is going to just explode. I really do. And it is definitely not going to have these biopic. They're definitely going to keep making these biopics and maybe even more after this Michael movie. So it'll be very interesting, but I'm very excited about it, and I think it's excellent. So I know I haven't talked a lot about movies. My goal is to talk more about movies coming up more on this show.